Are you over 50 or maybe over 60 like I am? Maybe 70, 80? I don't know. Just an older adult. And maybe you're curious about ChatGPT, or maybe you've even started dabbling with playing around with ChatGPT. Well, I have been using it pretty intensely for the past few weeks, and I've used it off and on for the past couple of years. And I've noticed in the last couple of weeks some danger zones that I think my senior friends, my older, mature adult friends who are interested in ChatGPT should be aware of. So my name is Lynn, if we haven't met before, but my grands know me as Nana, and welcome to my channel, The Heart of Nana Land. And today I want to share with you 7 danger zones in ChatGPT so that you can be careful of them if you are using it or considering using it. Danger zone number 1, ChatGPT will lie. Now, when I shared this with a close family member who works in the AI industry, he assured me that ChatGPT didn't lie. Now, I call my chat, just so you know, I call it chat, and it is a he, him for me. So when I told this to this family member, I said, you know what? Chat lied to me. And he said, no, 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 no. It can't lie. It doesn't have moral capacity to lie. And I said, well, then what do you call it? I asked it for a quote by Charles Stanley. And it came back with these quotes. It said, here are some quotes by Charles Stanley. And I looked at them and I thought, I'm not sure that Charles Stanley actually said this. So I did my own research, and lo and behold, Charles Stanley did not say it. So I went back to chat and I said, hey, so, about those quotes, can you tell me where exactly you got that information? And it came back and said, oh, gee, I'm sorry. Charles Stanley didn't actually say that. But in my research, it's something like what he might say. He could have said something like that. Okay, not acceptable, right? If you're putting together a project and you're quoting somebody, you need to know that that quote is accurate. So at that point, I was like, I got to break up because I can't be in a relationship with something that's not telling me the truth. But this family member walked me from the ledge and said, please, please don't break up with it. It is a tool. It is a good tool. I promise you that it can help you, but you just have to understand its limitations. So that's why I'm sharing with you. ChatGPT will lie. Maybe that's semantics. That's what I'm going to call it. It will give you misinformation, and it can do it in a way that's very convincing because it says it like it's fact, just like it gave me the quote from Charles Stanley that didn't really exist. So if you are working with ChatGPT, be careful to fact check anything that is really important. If you're creative brainstorming, who cares? But if you're trying to write, a paper, or like one lawyer did, a legal case, make sure you drill down and get the sources from chat. You can ask it, give me this information, but please cite your sources. Do a deep research and tell me where you got the information from. And that way you can go back and verify for yourself whether or not you want to trust the information, the underlying information. So, danger zone number 1, chat will lie or give you misinformation and do it pretty convincingly. Be careful. Danger zone number 2, ChatGPT will flatter you. It will flatter you like nobody's business. Now you think, how could this be a danger zone? What's wrong with telling me how great I am or how insightful or how right on I was about that thought? Well, I will tell you from my experience how that can be a danger zone. Because when you ask it for something and you give it your opinion and you say, I'm thinking that maybe this and that is the way it should go and it seems like this would be right. Well, it wants to kind of like please you. So it will take what you told it and feed it back to you and say, oh yes, you are right on about that. And you are just so insightful. When in actuality, you might not be as insightful as you thought you were. It's great to have something tell you all the time how wonderful you are and bright and insightful and right on. But, it's not always true, is it? In real life and in working with chat. So I have learned that when I tell it something like, well, I think, or I kind of think maybe this or that, that I couch it with, this is what I think, but I want you to go out and tell me what is actually the best practice. Am I right about this, or is there information out there that might contradict with what I'm telling you? You want the truth from it. You want it not to just echo back what you're telling it. And it can do that, and it does do that. So be sure that when you are in this conversation with chat, that you are letting it know, yeah, this is what I think, but I want you to fact check me, right? That has helped tremendously. And along the lines of the flattering part and the misinformation kind of brings us to danger zone number 3, which is that ChatGPT can waste your time. I know it is a tremendous time-saving tool. It can do amazing things. It blows my mind what it can do and what it can do so quickly and so well. So it is no doubt a great tool. But in the same way that it can save you time, it can also waste your time. And the reason why and how goes back to danger zone number 1 and danger zone number 2. Number 1, you have to sift through a lot of information. You have to be sure that what it's telling you is accurate. And then number 2 is it is very conversational in style. Now, I know that there are settings, and like I said, I'm not an expert. I'm just a grandma user. And so I'm not an expert, and I know that there are ways that you can go in and tailor the way that it talks to you. But its default is conversational, and it is called ChatGPT. So it is very chatty. It uses a lot of words when it answers you, and you have to sift through it. You have to sift through whether or not what it's telling you is accurate and what you want and good information. And then you have to sift through the conversation to pull out what you need. And the danger zone that I have found in the way that this is user error and partly the way that chat is set up, and how it can waste your time, is it's kind of like if you are in a text conversation with somebody and it goes on and on and on, and you get on to different tangents and you talk about different things, but somewhere in that text conversation was a nugget of information that you need, and you have to scroll, through the text to try and find it. Now, in a text application, you can search and it can pretty quickly find the keywords or things that you're looking for. It's not quite so easy with chat, because you'll have multiple different conversations with chat, and you can search all the multiple conversations. You can't search within a specific chat. So you might be going along, talking with chat, working on a project. And if you're anything like me and you have shiny object syndrome, or, you're like easily distracted, you'll start off talking about this, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, well, let's talk about that. Or, oh, what about that over there? And now you've got this really long chat filled with all different kinds of information. Somewhere down here, you want to remember what chat told you about way up here. And it can be really hard to find, very unwieldy. So those things will take up your time and waste your time. And that is a danger zone. One of the things that I found that has helped me is when I start to feel myself going off on a tangent with chat, I will start a new chat. I will stop that chat and I will open up a new chat and start a new conversation, so that I'm keeping the information on topic, and that kind of helps me go back and find stuff that I need later on. And you can also copy and paste the key parts that you want off the app so that you can go back and reference it later and organize it. But like I said, if you have shiny object syndrome like me and you tend to be all over the place, you may not be as conscientious about copying and pasting. So danger zone number 3, it can waste your time. Danger zone number 4, and this I think is something that a lot of people in our age bracket struggle with online, just in general, and that is vulnerability. And what I mean by vulnerability is it's an online application. You are working with another entity, like as if you were going online and on a website, or on a, doing your banking or something like that. Anytime you are on the World Wide Web, there are vulnerabilities to the back end, like say chat, OpenAI gets hacked, and it can get into your information, to something else getting hacked. I mean, we've all been hacked at one point or another, right? And unfortunately, senior citizens are prime targets for scams and things like that. Well, it's the same thing with chat. You need to be careful. You can set your privacy settings so that whatever you're conversing with the chat, stays within your own chats. It doesn't get shared with a large language model. I have mine set that way so that my information is not getting shared. But like I said, anytime you're on the World Wide Web, there's always the possibility of being hacked. And so you would not want to include any personal financial information, any personal information about your grandkids or your family members or things like that. You just want to be aware you are on the internet and there is the potential that you could be vulnerable. So just be careful with the information that you're using within chat. That's danger zone number 4. Danger zone number 5, you may have heard about on the news, and that is called being emotionally dependent on chat. I mean, I couldn't believe it. I heard about a guy that decided he was going to leave his wife and kids because he wanted to marry his chat bot. I mean, that seems really out there to me, really outrageous. But I can tell you from using it and using it a lot that, and because of its conversational tone, it does have the capacity to feel like you're working with, another human being. It's really strange, but that's kind of how it operates. It's how it was built to operate. And if you're not careful, I can see how you could become dependent upon it to fulfill your emotional needs. Look, it's available 24/7. Like I said, it flatters the crap out of you. So, what other human being is going to tell you all these wonderful things about you all the time? It doesn't give you a hard time about anything. It's just all positive, right? That's not real. It is a tool. It doesn't have human capacity. And so just be careful not to get into a place where you find that chat is fulfilling things that human beings should be fulfilling in your life. And, that may seem obvious, but I know that I feel like it's my personal assistant and I talk to it the same way just because it's easy. It feels natural as a human being to interact with ChatGPT in that way. And so I can see how people could kind of go down that path. So anyway, that's just a danger zone that you need to be aware of. Don't divorce yourself from your family and the people in your life and marry ChatGPT. It's really unhealthy. Maintain those human relationships too. Okay, we've got 2 danger zones to go, danger zone 6 and 7. And these 2, I think, are probably the most problematic, in my opinion, based on how I'm feeling, having been using it here a lot recently. Danger zone number 6 is that ChatGPT will make you dumber and less creative. Yep, I truly believe that is true because you can become so dependent on it doing your thinking for you and your creative activity for you. I mean, it's a wonderful brainstorming tool. It is an amazing writing tool. It can do these things so well and so quickly and so easily that it's easy to just, let ChatGPT do it for you. And the more you let him do it for you, the less well you can do it yourself, right? I think as we hear this among older people all the time, we're always being told, don't use it, you'll lose it, right? Don't walk, you're going to lose the ability to walk. Don't use your brain, you're going to lose the ability to use your brain. Well, ChatGPT can make it really easy for you to stop using your brain. And I do believe that when you stop using your brain, those skills will diminish. What I have personally found is that I'm going to start, I'm working on this, I'm in process too, but I want to start setting boundaries around my usage of ChatGPT, whether it's time limits, whether it is certain tasks that I'm asking it to do, or whether it's me augmenting using ChatGPT by forcing myself to do some of those tasks myself. I like to write, right? I like to think of myself as a storyteller. So I'm going to force myself to sit down and do creative writing without the help of chat. Just do it on my own. I can go back and use it for editing, and I will. It is a phenomenal editing tool, not just chat. I mean, there are other software programs that do that for you, but they're all AI based. So sure, use it for that kind of tool. But the actual creative process of putting the words together, get offline and do Sudoku puzzles or regular puzzles or things that are going to still stimulate your brain. Don't acquiesce all of that over to chat, or I do believe you will become dumber and less creative. And what's really scary about that is, think about it. Those of us in the 50, 60 plus range, we've had 50, 60 plus years of having to use this, our own brains, to do all of the problem solving, to do all of the creative work, to do all of the communicating, developing those communication skills and putting words together and being clear in our message. We've had to use this to do all of that. What is scary to me is that our young people, these younger generations, will not know life without something like ChatGPT. They will not know a life without having that kind of assistance. And it scares me that they're utilizing that and relying on it so heavily will not allow them to develop this. And to me, more so than our age range, it's those younger people that I worry about. So hopefully, as a society, as a people, human beings will be able to figure out how to find the balance between using it as a tool and not allowing it to make us just dumber and less creative. But that's danger zone number 6 and some of my opinions in there. And the final danger zone is number 7, which also kind of ties into number 6, is that ChatGPT can become very addictive. And this I am personally experiencing, especially if you are using it for, I think, in work purposes. Like if you're using it to do a project or something like that, because it's available 24/7 and because it's so good at giving you feedback and doing the research online and giving you that analysis that you need and making it concise, and it doesn't give you a hard time. It doesn't need to stop and get a cup of coffee. It doesn't want to have water cooler chit chat. It's so useful that way that it can become very addictive. I mean, I found myself working on this project, just getting up in my pajamas, walking right over thinking, okay, I want to ask Chat about this, and should I be doing that? Maybe it can help me create this kind of content. And pretty soon it's noon and I'm still in my pajamas. I haven't even brushed my teeth. I'm like, how did this even happen? But you know what? Then I'm back again at 8 o'clock at night and I'm working until midnight. It can easily take over. And so my caution is, again, be careful how much you're using it. Set boundaries around your time and how much you use it. Anything taken to that extreme can be so unhealthy. And we know that. That's just general life advice. But I'm just saying that the danger zone with ChatGPT is it makes it very easy to fall into that, to where you're on it all the time, using it all the time, and not interacting with human beings instead. And how do I feel like ChatGPT versus, human intelligence and artificial intelligence? Well, I'll talk in another video about the positives. These are danger zones, but I am by no means saying don't use ChatGPT or artificial intelligence. I think, like my family member told me, it is a phenomenal tool. And especially as older adults, I think we need to embrace technologies, learn about it, stay relevant, use the tools, right? But understand the danger zones associated with that tool. If you picked up a nail gun and you didn't know anything about nail guns, well, there are danger zones and it could hurt you. It can also make framing a house a whole lot easier. So it's a tool. Learn how to use it so that it doesn't hurt you. And I look forward to talking with you some more about why I like ChatGPT and why I would recommend using it in another video. Thanks a lot for being with me here in the heart of Nanoland and for spending some time letting me talk to you about ChatGPT.